When moving abroad, people would first think about the challenges around paperwork struggles and language barrier. But I think there's another one nobody really warns you about, and yet everyone expects you to just know how to do. Small talk. Hi, this is Mia. And today I want to talk about small talk and how different it can be depending on the country and the culture, and why I think it's one of the most underrated culture shocks of all. If you spend any time online reading about Korea, you've probably come across this idea. Koreans don't do small talk. People don't really talk to strangers. No chit-chat in the elevator, for example, or with a cashier or a barista. I remember a few years ago when a friend of mine moved into an apartment building in Seoul. Back home, he's the kind of person who always says hello to everyone. Neighbors in the elevator, people in the hallway, cafe places he often goes to, it doesn't matter. So he did the same thing here. Every time he got in the elevator, he'd smile and say 안녕하세요, trying to be as polite as possible. But most people didn't answer or just bowed to him awkwardly, like, what does he want from me? After a few weeks, he told me, I think everyone in this building just hates me. I've heard the version of that story from a lot of foreigners, and many draw the conclusion thinking that Koreans are just cold and unfriendly. But rude people aside, I think that what people see as cold or unfriendly most of the time is just a very different sense of small talk. What counts as polite or the type of questions or answers that are expected are different country to country. And honestly, it took me a while to get it. For example, one of the first things people often ask you is your age. When I first moved here, I thought that was a bit intrusive. In France, asking someone's age is not really necessary, just out of curiosity. But in Korea, it's more practical. Because Korea has different speech level depending on who you're talking to. Asking someone's age is very important to figure out how you're going to address them in the future.
Hello.
And I think that's probably why a lot of other questions that come right away when you first meet someone are quite personal. What do you do? Where you went to school? Are you married? Where do you live? I think those questions are pretty common in Korea. But for French and Germans, for example, I think they can feel like another step of boundaries. And it also explains a lot why it's so hard to get used to. Because those are very simple and little things that people don't really think about. But they can be completely different depending on the country, and they can lead to a lot of awkwardness and misunderstanding if not done correctly. I have a close Korean friend who actually struggled after moving to Germany because of this. People kept asking him questions that he didn't really know how to answer. He just couldn't figure out what people were expecting from him. He told me one of his early coffee chat with a German colleague kind of went like this. Hey, you're new here, right? Wanna grab a coffee? Oh, yeah, sure. So, quick question. Are team Star Wars or Star Trek? Star Wars, I guess? Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. What about you? Oh, me? Oh, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan all the way. Lord of the Rings? Yeah, big fan. But you asked me about Star Wars or Star Trek. Yeah. But you said Lord of the Rings. Yeah. He told me he could feel that he was not answering the way people were expecting him to, but he didn't really understand what they wanted from him. And I think that's the thing about small talk. Nobody teaches it. You learn it growing up by watching people around you, making mistakes, and slowly observing what feels normal until you don't even notice it. And honestly, I got it wrong a lot of times as well. There are still moments where I miss the most obvious things to Korean. I still remember a while back, my boss invited us to lunch at a taco place near the office. I mentioned before that I knew a really good taco restaurant near my apartment, so we were curious about another taco place next to our office. So he invited us to lunch and paid for it. 다들 우리 오늘 타코 먹으러 가자. 좋아요. 타코 어때요? 집 근처에 타코집이랑 좀 맛이 비슷해요? 여기 맛있어요. 근데 제 생각에는 우리 집 타코집은 좀 더 맛있는 것 같아요. 아, 그래요? 아, 그렇구나. So I genuinely thought he wanted an honest answer. That is what is expected in France. If someone asks you to compare, you compare. But his face after I answered told me that I did wrong. Looking back, I think a more Korean response would have been to enjoy the meal and just compliment it. Honesty was not expected. Appreciation was. Which is exactly why it's so hard to learn, because it's not just about learning the language. It's tied to hierarchy, personal space, intimacy, and what a culture considers carrying or overstepping. Small talk is directly linked to the root of each culture. I'd love to hear what you think of this. How does small talk looks like for you where you live? Is it normal to you to just ask someone's age the first time you meet someone? Let me know in the comments, and as always, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.